So we've talked a lot about sellers. I want to switch and kind of talk about buyers and what it's been like for buyers this year. Being a buyer is supposed to be a happy time, and if anything, it's been very stressful for buyers this year. Do you think that it's going to get any better for these buyers that are still out there trying to find a home?
I do. You're absolutely right. There's been kind of a phrase we've used this year called buyer fatigue, and it's real. It's been exhausting to be a buyer, competing against multiple offers. But when you look at a lot of the data that we've shown with more homes starting to come on the market and a little less buyer activity, I actually think there's a really good opportunity coming this fall to be a buyer again. The stories that we heard. For example, here we are in Naperville, and I'll give you a quick, example of the stampede that we kind of talked about early in the spring. When we would list a home, let's just say around $500,000, it was priced appropriately, it was positioned well, it was staged nicely. No exaggeration, we would have 120 showings in 2.5 days. We'd have 30 to 40 offers, and it was just incredibly exhausting, both for buyer, of course, but also for seller, having that many people walk through their home and having that many offers to go through. So that was kind of the height of sort of the pandemonium, if you will, in the market. And that isn't just true here in Naperville. We saw that in a lot of the suburban markets that we look at. But with the data that we talked about today, we're seeing this subtle shift where there's more inventory coming on the market, and a lot of the buyers have either found what they were looking for or dropped out or have other views of what they want to do. And so the opportunity, I actually think, looks really good for a buyer going into the fall market.
So a buyer right now, they can expect to make an offer on a property and maybe it'll have 1 or 2 offers instead of 30 or 40.
Definitely. I mean, I think that's a fair takeaway. Now, if it has to be priced right to still garner that interest, but there's no question you're not competing against 10, 20, 30, 40 offers. In most cases, it's 1 or 2, which really creates a terrific opportunity for buyers because so many of the buyers that we saw earlier this year were really well qualified. And so that added to the frustration. You think that you've dotted your I's, crossed your T's, you're qualified, and you still lost out. So I think you're going to see a really nice sort of shift and relief for a lot of these buyers that are now able to find what they want in this fall market.
So pretend I'm your buyer. How do you advise me right now?
So I think the key, if I'm a buyer, is to really ask myself, what's my time horizon, right? The average homeowner now lives in their home about 10 years. So you want to make decisions around that. And what I mean by that is not just financially, but lifestyle. So a lot of people have made decisions around the pandemic, which I really understand. We all sat in our home and kind of critiqued it, and we made decisions around that. But when you look at amenities, you look at the financial component of it, you look at where interest rates are today, that's how I think you want to make your decisions. If I have a time horizon for 10 years, does this fit my family, my family's needs? Does this accomplish our goals, both on the inside and now the outside of the home? And if the answers are yes, I say get in the market and don't try to time it, because we know real estate markets ebb and flow over time anyway. So to try to time it, you're still going to see cycles over the course of the average 10-year hold. And so I wouldn't sit back on the sidelines and try to time it. If it satisfies your goals, go for it.